Hi, everybody. So I am promising that this is going to be a lot shorter than the last video I posted. I was really questioning, like, what? Because it was so long. But before it went to YouTube, it came out to be a 7/7. So I knew he was giving me the heads up, like, yeah, this is right. Because I had to edit parts of, different parts of the video out. So I had no idea how long it was going to end up, and that's what it was. So then I knew that was a go for sure. And then when you first click on it, it comes out to be a 7/8, which is the day that it actually finished uploading and went on YouTube. So worked out pretty well. Anyway, so I spent the day today with, I was talking to Mary Magdalene. In the morning, after I do my meditation, if I have time at all, then I do a reading, and I, just ask with whoever to guide the reading. And this morning it was Mary Magdalene. And so then I went to the woods a while later, and she took me down this path that was, I like to go like into the woods. I don't stay on the paved area too much. And it was an area that I'd never been before. And there was a path that you could tell was not meant to be a path. It was just sort of, somebody had walked through there. And I was like, is this right? And then a monarch butterfly showed up, in front of me. So I knew, okay, like that's right. Because I always associate those with Metatron. And then I looked over, and I didn't even notice her. I saw something moved, and it was a deer. And the deer jumped up, and she said very clearly to me, foal. And I thought, that's not a baby. And a foal, I was like, foal, it just didn't sound right. And I kept looking. I mean, they were really close to me, and there were two babies, and I was like, fawns, right? And I mean, they were so beautiful and peaceful. And I've had dreams about deer since I started doing this, so it has a meaning for me. And I thought when I first when I just saw one, I thought, well, that's strange, because I usually see more than one. And there were two babies, and then I Googled foal, because I was like, did I hear her wrong? And because it's fawn, right? But foal is baby animal. So anyway, that was pretty amazing. And yeah, I just had a great time in the woods with her. Then I went and ran errands everywhere. And I haven't been out, doing things like that for quite a while. So I had a lot of places to hit. So I go into the first place, and I went in to get, my daughter's coming home, and I'm planting some succulents for her. And so I wanted to get a pot to transplant something. And I went, to a store. It's got like a lot of different things in it. And I walked in the door, and there was the table that I have been looking for a long time. Just the exact perfect table. It was on sale. And it was right at the door. So I knew right away. I was like, oh, that's my table. And then I went to a few other places. I was at my last stop, and I kept thinking that my phone was in the car. And I realized, I looked in the car, I was putting my things into the back seat, and I glanced at the front seat, and I saw there was my charger with no phone attached. And I was like, oh no, because I had gone, 5 places, I think. And so I started back to my first stop, or my second stop, because I thought, oh, it has to be there, because I knew I didn't have it at the third store. And I realized as I was pulling in the parking lot, I saw a flash of it in the shopping bag, one of the shopping bags that I had used at the bottom of the groceries. And so I was like, oh, I'll just pull over and make sure before I drive home that it's in there. So I pulled in. I stopped the car, and I did not put it into park. I was in such a hurry. Mercury Retrograde. That's why they say don't sign contracts. Be careful driving. It isn't because somebody might try to trick you, it's because we feel like we're in a hurry. And she had been saying to me all day, you have plenty of time, you have plenty of time. And I just didn't, I kept saying like, yeah, right, I have plenty of time. Because I did have a lot to do before I started client sessions today. But yeah, I jumped out of the car and started moving. I mean, I was still in the car, but it was moving because my foot was off the brake. And so I went to jump, and this is a crowded, it's a busy parking lot. And I went to grab the steering wheel so I could slam on the brake. And instead of doing that, I grabbed the horn. And so it was like screaming as I hit the car parked across from mine. So yeah. Hopefully that person isn't too upset. I'm sure they were working because of where the car was parked, because it was like way out, where people are driving through. So I just left a note with my name and my phone number. And, yeah, it wasn't too tragic, but yeah, that's my Mercury retrograde story. This Mercury retrograde started on my moon. My moon is at the degree of Leo, where Mercury and Mars came together, like I talked about, and started to move backwards. So yeah, that's my Mercury retrograde story. And we're done now. Because, Mercury covers phones. So it was like, first I misplaced the phone. And then I thought like, oh, my phone might be lost. Of course, like no one likes that. But I thought, no, because I have clients today. That's not going to happen. And then I looked at the clock and it was 12:12. So I was like, okay, that's not happening. And then, yeah, instead, I guess I rammed somebody's bumper. So, anyway, that's been my day. But when we did this reading this morning, she brought up me posting a video tomorrow, so this video will go out on the 10th, the morning of the 10th. It's interesting that today Saturn is very close to the Earth, and Saturn, is the Lord of karma. It's a very heavy energy that can feel weighty, and it feels restrictive, and it's not a whole lot of fun. Saturn's not like, the fun guy. So whenever a planet is close to the Earth, it's significant. And he's with the south node of the moon, which is the past and stuff. So I think that's why she wanted to put this out, because that's not obviously going to change. But tonight, supposedly, you'll get this video tomorrow, but you're supposed to be able to see it. I saw an article that you could see it. I'm sure, I don't know, wouldn't you have to have a telescope for Saturn? I'm not sure, but I use the app Skyview. Yeah, it's Skyview. I use that app to, look around the sky, and it'll tell you what's where. If you look now, Jupiter is actually it's in the sign of Sagittarius, but it's in the constellation. Well, I think he's still in the constellation of Scorpio. Maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't look at sidereal astrology, but they are different. So, yeah, you could take a peek and look up there at the planets and see, I like to look at what constellations are around my house. So anyway, but yeah, so we did this reading with the mystical shaman oracle, and you may remember I have a hard time pronouncing Villaldo. Alberto Villaldo, Colette Baron-Reed, and Marcela Lobos. I love this deck, and we did the reading this morning for myself, and then she said that she would just add a few cards so that all of you would have, will add some more to the reading that I did for myself. So go ahead and settle in, because we've got 7 cards to get through. Still not a 2.5 hour video, but okay. So the first card is the Holy Mountain. The Holy Mountain invites you to go on a sacred pilgrimage to acquire vision and perspective. First, you must accept the present situation as an opportunity to discover higher understanding. Find a sacred altar. Okay, we're skipping that. Make a commitment. It was about going to sacred sites. Make a commitment to walk with courage, love, and compassion until you see with clarity the perfection of all. That's really when you are there. When you know, like, okay, I'm there. I got it. I'm fully enlightened. It's when you just look at whatever situation happens, like, say, letting your foot off the brake and smashing into the bumper in front of you, and you just say, okay, everything happens for a reason. I forgive myself. I forgive whatever person, you know, has wronged me in whatever way and caused this situation to come about. And I resist the urge to blame, is what she's saying. And we just see that everything, just like the creator, it's like they always, all of the archangels, the creator, to them, everything's always perfect. And everything that we've ever done has been fine. It's only the human ego that wants to correct things and try to measure up and do better and be somewhere else. And we're not doing enough. But not to them. And that's what it's going to be like when all of us get to that place, which is where we're headed, right? Where what we're all aiming for is to just accept that everything is perfect. This is why I don't get worked up, like, with the whole political stuff, you know? And I was going to mention too, I meant to say at the beginning, when people comment on YouTube or anywhere, I mean, on my pages, like Facebook or whatever, and they have like nasty things to say to me because I've said something about someone in politics that they like, just let it go, because it's pointless. It's a waste of energy. And when people, I mean, you can feel that anger. So then when we start engaging back with that, it's dirty to, you know, it's not clean. So just let it go. And I try to delete them. I didn't delete one, and I probably should have, but I've taken it off now. Because, you know, I'm not here to pander to anybody. I'm really not good at that. And I'm going to just say what I'm told to say. And even if other people are saying different things, or somebody made a comment about that, I don't really watch anyone else. It's been like 2 or 3 times this year that Metatron suggested, like, hey, why don't you watch this? But otherwise, I just stick to astrology videos, you know, people that I've watched for years, if I even have time for that. So, you know, just let that stuff whenever people, and I would just recommend for your own, you know, well-being during this period, especially, just to let things go. Comments on Facebook. It's awful to read the comments sometimes with news stories. When the holy mountain shows up, it is time to be active. 6 retrogrades, but this is the advice. Do not let your doubts deter you and keep you bound. This is a time to leap over challenges and to remember that from the top of the mountain, there are no obstacles. Only beauty and an unobstructed view of the entire earth. And there's no need to go shopping for the right hiking boots or camping equipment to climb the holy mountain. You already have all of the gear that you need. You already have all of the gifts and the talents and the ascended mastery traits, she's saying, that you need. You have it all. It's all inside you. Overcome any lethargy, because that's an actual obstacle. But otherwise, everything else is an illusion, because you're always going to end up exactly where you're meant to go. And then we have 56 and 11, thunder, Uranus. When thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a big dramatic change. Remember that when Mercury and Mars were together getting ready to move retrograde, Uranus was in pretty much a square. I mean, they were like 1 degree or not quite 2 degrees apart, but that counts. That's close enough. And Uranus has changed. It's sudden, abrupt change that you don't see coming, okay? And that's for all of us. And these energies won't just be playing out during eclipse season. They're going to keep going, but that's the energy that we're set up for the future. When thunder comes into your reading, okay, and then I just heard somebody say what amount of time. It can literally be up to 2 years, because that was a new moon that we had. But most likely within 6 months, something will come about. It may come up again, but it can even start, you know, before eclipse season as well, okay? When thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a big dramatic change that feels like a herd of wild bison on the run. You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are powerless to influence whatever events have been set in motion. And now I'm seeing, like I talked about, boy, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, okay, when I talked about that I saw the earth moving. And I feel like I maybe kind of don't emphasize that as much as I maybe need to, but I have been talking about since I got on YouTube, the shifts and changes coming to the earth, that we're beginning that period, but it's not going, it's an extended period, okay? Like you could be here 3-4 more times before that's finished, extended. You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are powerless to influence whatever events have been set in motion. This is a time to be prepared for anything. Your life is an adventure, and wonderful opportunities are arriving now. The trick is to learn to run with them. Qualities that you'll need now more than ever are flexibility. I need the umbrella to stay. Our flexibility, dexterity, and a willingness to experience it all without dictating from where or in what form opportunities will come. Your destiny is arriving. Be ready. Okay? And that's Pluto South Node, okay? And Saturn South Node, where we're just like fixed. And we're not going to we're not going to sway. We're just like, this is the way it is. And this is the way I want it. You know, it's just letting go of everything. I surrender to the process of my own transformation. Every day, I surrender to the process of my own transformation. And she's saying, and to take courage from that, to feel courageous when you say that, just to release all of the fear that might come to your mind when you say that. There's a lot of power in surrendering. And you know, it's when we don't surrender that we get knocked around and whiplash, right? It's when everybody's tensed up. You know, if you've ever experienced a car accident, it's when you're tensed up that you get the whiplash. If you're just relaxed and you don't know, then injuries tend to not be. So I'm not saying that you're going to get injured, but you know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to just go with the flow. Go with the flow. It's time to say no to drama, both yours and others. Focus on solutions rather than problems. You are worthy of a drama-free life. So, you know, not answering people that want to get into it with you about politics or religion or, you know, you name it, money, whatever it is. Because Mercury began his retrograde in Leo. And the lower Leo is drama. That's part of lower Leo. It can also be like, me, look at me. And yeah, everybody, you know, not everyone has a planet in Leo. Not everyone has a sun, moon, or ascendant in Leo. That tends to be, you know, for those of us who do, that's something that we really need to watch. But everyone has a sun, which is your Leo. And so we all can go that way. So really staying away from drama and, yeah, just letting other people think what they're going to think, because it's going to get louder. You know, the darkness likes attention is what Metatron always says. It's going to get louder. The drum. The drum invites you to take the next bold step in your journey. The forces of heaven and earth are aligned behind you, supporting effortless action. This is not a time to push against the river. The current will take you exactly where you want to go. Once you jump in, let me say that again. The current will take you exactly where you want to go once you jump in. Like once you just say, okay, I'm going with the flow. I'm doing this. I surrender. Let's do it. It'll just take you. Collect your power tools and summon your courage, because it is going to be a wild and glorious journey. Allow yourself to be carried by the rhythm of what is really essential in your life. You travel to the beat of a different drum. It's time to acknowledge you do not fit a mold or role or relationship that is not in tune with you. Find your rhythm. Respond to the heartbeat of the distant drum. The price you pay for lingering. I'm not going to say that. But now is the time to move on, like from things that no longer, I don't believe that we like pay prices or there's punishment. But like I said, you know, the whiplash occurs when people are, I'm not going, I'm still, I'm fixed. I'm fixed Earth. Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, fixed Earth. Now is the time to move on. And just letting people go, letting relationships go, you know, friendships or, you know, you don't even have to, there doesn't even have to be a conversation. You can just pull away. You can just slowly pull away. There's a way to graciously exit every relationship. I never really have done that until very recently. I tended to burn the bridge and then the village around the bridge and the region around that village just in case. So, but yeah, it's, you know, just graciously letting people go, and people will, like, you'll be surprised the people that you lose right now or that you no longer feel close to, in tune with, because that's just the time that we're in. And I talked about that in the new moon with Venus being on the descendant. Venus is relationships, and so it'll be surprising breaks in relationship. The upper world. The upper world is calling you to step into your fully realized self. Clear distractions so that you can move into a higher destiny. Do not fall to the temptation to craft a slightly more improved version of yourself. What you perceive as a problem or an obstacle is in fact the irritation you need to take a great leap. Remember, you cannot cross the Grand Canyon in 2 small jumps. Ask your divine helpers for guidance. If the oracle has already spoken to you, do not ask for more. Well, there's no need to ask for more guidance. Take what guidance is offered. While support for a new destiny is not yet in place, a new destination is available to you if you act now. And that's what Metatron was referring to about, like when I was saying pointing the arrow and going, you know, what I usually say with Mars. He was saying, you know, this might be a time where, okay, no. Okay, he's saying point your arrow and go, because remember he was talking about target practice like a month ago. So he's saying, yeah, point your arrow, but he said don't be surprised if what you believe now is going to be your destination changes, and it's actually something much better than you could have imagined it would be. Okay, and then we have the Hunter. Before the dawn of agriculture, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry, you guys, this is really long, so I went through it first too, and I didn't mark this page. Rely on your own skills to traverse the thick forest you are in to reach your destination. You need to follow the tracks left by spirit to claim your bounty, which is already prepared and being offered to you. Do not follow maps drawn by others, as they will not lead you true. Instead, become the map maker. Find your internal compass and use all your senses, including common sense. Okay. And then the rest is just saying, if you, like he said, you know, if you pursue something and it doesn't come to fruition, just that was part of your path. And when timelines merge, okay, it's like you're not really alone in your decision. I mean, you are, but you affect other people. Your actions and other people's actions affect you. And sometimes I don't think that we fully appreciate how much that is true. But when we're merging these timelines, okay, and we're just allowing ourselves to be flexible, something could come up, and then a soul could make a different decision. Maybe not you, but a different soul, and then the soul family gets back together and they say, okay, now how are we going to do that? He told me that with something that fell through for me. He said there are a lot of paths that lead to the same destination. There's a lot of avenues to success, and wherever it is that you're going, okay? So if you don't be discouraged. That was just the way that it was meant to play out. because, that happened to me. I was just 3 weeks before an eclipse moving to England a few years ago. No, it was 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, I was like, the day before, I was like, hi, are you sure? And it was like, yep, you're going. And the next day, it was like, oh, by the way, you're not going. So I was like, okay, I kind of thought so. But yeah, you never know. But flexibility is key, is what he's saying. Flexibility and stability within self, and centering yourself within self is key. The key ingredients to success is what Mary Magdalene is saying. And then we have the corn. Corn represents the mother of sustenance and tangible abundance. This symbol represents material prosperity in the world of form that provides stability and sustenance to many. There is more than enough. You planted a beautiful field of dreams and worked hard. Even in moments when you were losing faith, you continued. Now the spirit of the corn comes to honor this and to show you a bountiful harvest. This is Saturn. This is the time to reap the rewards of hard work and trust, whether those rewards are financial or the kind of prosperity measured in quality rather than quantity. You are so blessed when this symbol appears. Don't forget to share your good fortune. Be prepared to work toward your goals and plant the seeds of your intentions consciously and respectfully. Please release any insecure thoughts of scarcity, feeling that there is lack, or worrying that someone else might take what is yours. That's another Leo story where we think that we're in competition. We need to one-up each other, which is nonsense. We're all on the same team. Know that all of us, even the people who aren't awakened and enlightened, we're all part of the same energy. Know that the universe will always provide, but you must be in a relationship with the universe in order to receive, which I believe that we are always in a relationship with the universe, but I believe that a lot of times, especially when we're feeling the shifting sands beneath our feet and there's just so much insecurity in the air, that we can close ourselves off. And we can just not be as open to messages, to guidance as we usually are, or we can think like other people in the world are suffering and don't have enough. Why should I? And that's all subconscious stories and usually things in the DNA that we just want to make sure that we're open and receiving and allowing. Okay, that's the Cancer season that we're in, the moon, the feminine. We're receiving. Okay, she's saying that we're planting the seeds, but we're also allowing the seeds to be planted in us as well, into our heart, so that we have the desires of our heart are able to come to fruition. Okay, like a lot of people that say, I'm not sure what I should be doing. I'm not sure what I should be doing. This is a time very well will come to you. Release any. Know that the universe will always provide, and you will reap what you sow. Take heart. Even if you didn't plant well and have conjured up the illusion of drought, there is always a new season to begin again. And this is that time to begin again, okay? But Saturn isn't just like the Lord of Karma in a bad way. He also helps us to reap what we've sown. He's our legacy and what we build. So once we get all of our structure straightened out, and we've done the work, we've put in the work, Saturn wants you to work toward the building, then he brings it all to fruition. And then the coyote. The coyote is the symbol of the sacred trickster, Mercury, the one who provides detours for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. The coyote brings the energy of divine deception to set you free from the shackles of that which doesn't serve you. Sometimes it appears that you will get everything you want, only to find that coyote brings you the opposite of what you hope for. The lessons offered by coyote may at first appear confusing, but they are most sacred and always for your highest good. If coyote calls to you, this is a time to pay special attention to detours and disappointment, as they are true tests of faith. You have set your intentions and turned them over to the Great Spirit. Yet you may find yourself lost and confused when it appears you are being led off course, off the path leading to your most cherished dreams and desires. Remember this, Coyote is a sacred trickster and may be leading you into challenges to ensure that you are ready to handle what you've set in motion. Great growth and understanding come to you when Coyote calls your name. Beware the shallow waters right now. Something or someone might pretend to be deep, but that doesn't make them so. No matter how seductive their superficial traits and or how beautiful or sparkly they appear, all that glitters will not turn up gold, no matter how many wishes you make to change that. So that's another story of that Venus on the descendant when she was during the new moon. That's deception in relationships or secrets or just where you're not seeing clearly the person. And yeah, so I thought that was a wonderful reading. I will put the card information in the description box. And, you know, just be patient with yourself and with everyone else. Remember to put your car in park if you're going to jump out of it. At least I can laugh about it. So, yeah, I hope that they're not upset. Really, there was just white paint. Like, you couldn't see anything at all on the bumper. But, yeah, their car is black and mine's white. And they have a giant SUV. I just have a little Volkswagen that's not going to do a whole lot of damage. So, anyway. Everybody, I hope that you really enjoyed this reading. I always love bringing forward the energy of Mary Magdalene. She's so sparkly and fun and vibrant and yeah, just so uplifting. And every time that I ask for her to guide me through the day, it's always just magical. I would recommend that too. If you are wanting to get to know the archangels, then pick one a day, or if you want to go like a few days or every day for a week, whatever you're comfortable with, then you'll become familiar with their energy, with their voice, is what she's saying, because it isn't always audible. It isn't when it first begins. Typically it's not audible. It's just a knowing, is what she's saying. There's thoughts that come to you. And yeah, you'll get to know, I do that a lot. A teacher told me that years ago, and it was really good advice. So, and I find that Mary Magdalene is very similar to, very similar. I find that Isis and Osiris are very similar to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Their vibrations are there. I think that, they're part of that ray, and, yeah, a little similar, but a little different, but yeah, very, very similar. So anyway, okay, everybody, take care and enjoy the rest of your week. I hopefully will have the full moon video, new lunar eclipse up. I'm thinking that Friday I'll be able to do that. I have time on Friday, that's what I'm saying now. Mercury retrograde, so not promising anything, but yeah, I mean it and I that I've always said, don't worry about it, a retrograde, it's not a big deal, like go ahead and do things. And they are saying, yeah, move forward, because if it's not meant to be, it's not going to be. You can't really do that. But it's the reason that they say don't sign a contract, don't start a relationship, all the things that they say not to do, is because we are in a hurry. And it's just something in us is saying like, hurry up. But it's just that we're not paying attention. Okay? Because the trickster is playing with us. All right. Take care, everybody.